So welcome. Okay, well, I just got a message. So, right, we're being recorded. So welcome again. When it comes to questions, if you click the participants icon, you can raise your hand, but only Alison Hall and myself will see it. So the other way to do it is just to either indicate using the chat function whether you either put your question in there or just indicate that you want to ask a question. You can raise your hand as well, that's fine. Time permitting, let's make this as friendly as possible and make it a discussion where we can. That's all my notes on the etiquette. So I'll share my screen with you now, and hopefully we get the right screen. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yes, I lose. There we go. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting everyone back on the screen so I can see you. Can you just raise your hand if you can see the slides? Okay, that's most of you. So it's working this in. So today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to give you a background on the masterclass and why we're doing it, and also how it works. There's a lot of information in there. We'll make the slide presentation available so you can go back and look at it. One of the things about starting something new is that you do end up with information overload. Don't worry about that too much. We'll help you work through any issues associated with that. So we're going to start off with a brief introduction by me, and we were going to get you to do a survey after that, but we're going to move that back during the day because I forgot to turn our PDF permission form, so we need to get you to sign stuff. I still need to make those as fillable forms, which I'll do during one of the sessions today. After that, we're going to do some breakout groups, and Alison Hall and I will take you through Milo, which is our online learning system, and show you how that works. There's regional Matt in there, so we'll spend some time doing that. I haven't got the agenda up in front of me. After that, we're having lunch. Is that? And then
that's correct.
Yep, that's correct. And then Alison Bailey. So Alison is from New Zealand. Alison, and I'll introduce Alison in a moment. But Alison's then going to take you through some gross margin exercises, which we'll explain to you. And then after that, we're going to do Excel exercises, which you can either do on your own or you can do it in a breakout room with one of us. Okay, so that's pretty much the day. So I'll start just talking about the masterclass. Alison, if you can just back me up and let me know if there's any questions.
Yep.
Right, so, all right, so Alison Hall, I'll introduce you to Alison. Alison is your key point of contact. Alison is the lecturer and unit coordinator for the course. And Alison's great. I'm going to point out a couple of times today, as much as I can, that if you need help, we're here to help. Alison's your first point of contact, but you are welcome to contact the rest of the masterclass team as well, if you need to. So I'll introduce Professor Alison Bailey, and Alison doesn't like me using her titles so much, but because there's two Alisons, generally like there's Alison and there's Professor Alison. So Alison is a professor in agricultural business, is that correct?
Officially farm management. So.
Farm management, that's it. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, and also Micah Rombach. So Micah is also from New Zealand, from Lincoln University, and Micah is a lecturer. And we often talk, but I don't, it's funny, isn't it? Like I don't often ask people what they do, but you're in agribusiness as well, Micah, or?
Oh.
I'm a lecturer in horticultural management.
Horticultural management, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Micah. So, Micah, so we're essentially the team that you work with. In addition to us, there's Claire Knowles, and most of you would have spoken to Claire. Lovely lady. If you have any administrative issues, Claire's the person to go to and help sort that out. All right, and there's myself. I'm a horticultural scientist, but I'll introduce myself to you properly in a moment as well. So that brings us to the next bit, where we're just going to spend some time introducing ourselves. I've chosen these pictures because we're living in the world of COVID, and we're doing this online. So it's either a fist or an elbow bump to say hello nowadays. I think it is. And this is just a casual thing, so don't freak out like the guy in the bottom right-hand corner. When most people I meet in life are actually very friendly. So I'll start to kick it off, and then we might just go around my screen, and I'll ask you to introduce yourself. So my name's Mark Borsma. So if you have any difficulty with my name, it's Boer as in the farmer with a sma on the end. But I've had lots of funny variations on my name. The best one's been Beersma, which I quite enjoy. So I grew up in Brisbane, and I've lived in the northwest of Tasmania in a town called Penguin for the last 25 years. And it's great living in a regional area. For the last 20 years, I've also mostly worked in the vegetable industry. I've worked for a company that exported onions and carrots. And for the last 15 years, I've either been doing my qualifications with UTAS or working with them as a horticultural scientist, doing research in vegetables. What do I enjoy? I love playing games on the Xbox, and I love gardening. I've just got back into gardening, and it's great. I've been doing lots of pruning. And what would I like to get from the masterclass? I really get a buzz from seeing people learn, from self-directed learning, from seeing people enjoy the revelations you experience when you come across some new knowledge or a new tool that you can use to make yourself or your life better in some way, or just learning something for the sake of learning it, and the pleasure that's associated with that. Okay, we might start with students actually. So Catherine, if you could unmute your microphone. You're first up. Just the vagaries of how Zoom allocates people.
Okay. Well, I'm Catherine Maloney. I'm from Old Beach in Hobart. And I'm actually a speech pathologist, but my partner and I have bought a blueberry farm, so that's going to be our new future, hopefully. So I enjoy gardening, I enjoy food production, and I enjoy cooking as well. And I enjoy being with children, working with children, which we're hoping to incorporate into this somehow. So really, I want to do the masterclass just to try and get a clear plan for us at this early stage.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Catherine. Laverne? James, you're going to be next, just so you know.
Hi, yeah, so my name's Laverne. Just ignore the G when you see the spelling of it. That's probably the easiest way of describing that, and I get lots of different pronunciations of that name as well. I live in Jimbool, which is in Western Victoria in the Wimmera. I've been here for 20 years now. My family's all grown up and gone off to do their own thing, so my husband and I are sort of left on our small farm property. But most recently I started work for a traditional owner group out here, and my role is business development advisor. And we do have a large native nursery that has been a bit run down over the years, but we're looking to redevelop it and also develop a bush foods business for those traditional owners who are on country. So that's the main reason why I'm doing this. The other side of the other side of it is with our own property. We're growing a range of heritage vegetables. My husband just likes to potter around and grow all sorts of stuff. So I thought it probably would be worthwhile understanding a bit more about the industry sector and what we can do with it, apart from just having a bit of fun and learning a bit more about all of this sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm always interested in learning more.
Okay, thanks, Laverne. James? Herman, you're up next.
Hello, I'm James Howe from far north Queensland. We're third generation farmers, and we grow bananas, avos, coffee, blueberries, sugarcane, cotton and peanuts. I had a crack at ag science with the University of Queensland out of high school and had such a good time. I came back to working on the family farm without any letters behind my name. So this is my second attempt at actually learning something. And what I do operations manager's job. So looking after the machinery and operators, and I do the agronomy side, so the irrigation and fertilizer and chemical application, watering, scheduling, that sort of fun stuff. So it'd be nice to get qualified and actually know what I'm doing rather than just guessing and checking. I enjoy spicy food and wine. And yeah, what I hope to get from the masterclass is, like I said, some real knowledge. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks, James. Herman.
Hi guys. All right, so yep, my name is Herman Kemp. Initially from South Africa, spent my first 30 years there. So after that we moved to Perth and did 2.5 years there, and we've been in Victoria down on the Mornington Peninsula for about 1.5 years now. So what do? I currently work as essentially a planning and procurement manager, or a S&OP manager. What that means is I coordinate the supply of raw material, various produce around the country into various distribution and processing facilities, so that can get packed and sent out to the various types of customers. So what I enjoy being part of the supply chain, so working end to end, setting up supply chain networks. Also enjoy spending some time cycling with my son, who's 2 years old, as well as doing a bit of hiking with my wife on the weekends. What I'm looking to get from the masterclass essentially would be building a network with all of the participants, as well as getting a bit of a broader experience in terms of the national ag industry in Australia. And is also looking to gain a bit of knowledge in terms of business and commercial practices, because I'm in the process of setting up my own business. So yeah, quite excited to be here.
Great. Thanks, Herman. Andrew, I didn't mention, but you're up now, mate. And Camilla, you're next.
Okay, does that work?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, my name's Andrew Gladdy. I work just out of Bendigo in Victoria. I actually operations manager making mushroom compost. So we make enough mushroom compost here to grow about 250 tonne of mushrooms a week, mainly into Coles and Aldi. But I want to get out of the course. I want to learn more about the agricultural business and other streams, and also probably get some more knowledge behind what I'm actually doing here in the growing of mushrooms and all the associated work with it. Things I do outside of work, I'm one of them stupid people that play golf and try and keep up with all the home duties, mowing the lawns and keeping up with all the maintenance on the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Camilla?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Camila Campos. I'm originally from Argentina. but I have been in Australia for 8 years now. I live in Toowoomba in southeast Queensland. I have been here for 5 years now, and I had a few jobs in the industry, but now for the last 3 years I have been working for Seminis. It's a vegetable seed company for the ones that don't know about it. And I'm in the area of product development, so I try all new varieties of different crops to try and find like better varieties for the growers. And yeah, from the course, I really want to know a bit more about the business part of the industry. I have been always involved in the production area, but not so much in the business. So yeah, looking forward to learning a bit more and yeah, meeting all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Camilla. Brendan. And Ashley, you're up after Brendan.
Hey guys, I'm Brendan Collins from Far North Queensland. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. And now I look after 200 acres of bananas in Innisfail. Also grow rambutans, mangosteens, avocados and lemons and hay. We've got a few different farms in North Queensland spread about the area. Yeah, I currently look after the bananas down here in Innisfail most of the time. Everything from mechanical to putting them in the box. And I enjoy fishing and spear fishing and getting out in the sun whenever I can. I just want to gain more business knowledge on the masterclass.
Yep,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, thanks, Brendan. That's good. Okay, Ashley.
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Ashley. I actually live not far from Lavelle. I'm in Horsham in Victoria. I originally grew up in the lower southeast of South Australia on a sheep and cattle farm. I currently work for a chemical company called BASF, so I manage the Mallee and Sunraysia region in Victoria. I've been doing a similar role for about 10 years, and I've worked for a couple of other companies around South Australia, right up to Queensland as well. So we just moved back from Queensland a year ago, where my husband now works on the family broadacre farm. So my area is broadacre and horticulture. What I like to do, I'm a bit of a sports fanatic. I go to the gym a fair bit, and in summer I like water skiing. What I'd like to get out of the masterclass is more about the business management side of things. I have an ag science degree, so I know probably a lot about the science side of things, but not really the business management side of things. So that's what I'd really like to get out of it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ashley. Okay. Alison Hall.
Hi guys. Yeah, so I'm Alison, obviously, born and bred in Tasmania. So I live in a town called Latrobe, so basically in the middle of the northwest coast. I studied an ag science degree in Hobart at the University of Tasmania. I actually did my honours in cherry production, but the last 9 years I have predominantly spent working in the dairy industry and also taking on further study. So most of my work has been centred around working in extension, so running farmer discussion groups, also around understanding adoption of technology on farms, but also a lot of work in our dairy benchmarking program, so the business management side of things. And since the start of this year, have been in the role of lecturer and unit coordinator in the masterclass in horticultural business, which I have really enjoyed. My background hasn't been in education or teaching, but I really enjoy working with people like yourselves and helping support you to achieve, what it is you want to get out of the masterclass, and seeing you learn and grow and develop and network is something that I get a lot of enjoyment out of supporting. So I would basically encourage you and re-emphasize what Mark said about if you have any questions or problems or concerns, please don't hesitate to give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. I'm pretty flexible. I'm working from home at the moment, and I apologise in advance if you hear my dog bark in the background. She gets involved in pretty much all my Zoom meetings, sets off Mark's dogs frequently. And yeah, that's basically me. So other than work, I've got about 10 acres here in Latrobe, and I've got a couple of horses that take up all my spare time. But also, like James, do enjoy wine and basically all foods. So it's a bit disappointing we can't meet in person, but hopefully we will be able to catch up in the future. So that
Thanks,
is
Alice.
me.
Thank you. Micah, I haven't given you a warning, and Professor Allison, you'll be next. But Micah.
So hi, my name is Maike, and I'm a lecturer at Lincoln University. I work in Professor Allison's team, and I'm from Germany, as you may hear from my accent, where I lived and worked for a long while, but I also have been in the US and in Italy, so I traveled a bit around the world. And what I do for my living is I'm teaching people. I'm doing research in horticulture, but similar to Allison's, more the social science side of things. My background is in ornamental flower production. That is how I started my career. What I enjoy is, well, I enjoy indoor and outdoor activities. When it's nasty and cold, like in New Zealand currently, then you find me probably doodling, drawing some comics, and in summer I'm a bit more outdoor. And why I like the masterclass is I like obviously networking, and but in a sense, what I like best is working from the background, preparing materials. I'm always happy if any of the examples or the content that I've brought up has been well understood or liked. Yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Micah. And last but not least, Professor Allison.
Hello. So I'm originally from the UK and studied there, and came to New Zealand about 4 years ago. So my background was in agricultural economics, moved into environmental economics, started teaching in farm management back in the UK in a number of institutions before coming here. Particular interest in sustainable systems. So I teach at Lincoln University to the first year's generic primary industry systems, and then to the second year's sustainable systems. Responsible for quite a large team. So in addition to myself and Micah, we do have other colleagues who contribute to the content development of this particular course. In terms of the masterclass itself, what I particularly like is, as we go through, there'll be some of you who will find something of interest and of use quite early on. And by the end, there will be all of you who will have found something of interest and relevance at some point through the course. And that's what I like to see, something just clicking with you. In terms of outside of this, I enjoy a lot of walking. So New Zealand is ideal for that. I enjoy rugby. So luckily we've got our rugby back on and we can go to it. And I shortly after we got out of our lockdown, I took up something called bouldering, which I can do indoors. So that's quite good. And I also have dogs, which may bark when people return home, as we're a couple of hours ahead of you. So later today, if people come home, my dogs might start barking in the background.
Trans-Tasman barking contest.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, Alison. All right, so we're gonna. I'm going to jump in and take you through a crash course on the masterclass and how it works. So, oh, here we go. I've got to click the right screen. Just give you a bit of background, so you understand what we're about. Horticulture is obviously a valuable contributor to the Australian economy and the New Zealand economy. So 2019-20, the value rose by about 3%, and it's about, the value of horticulture is about $11.7 billion. So it makes a reasonable contribution to Australia's economy. Obviously, if you run a business, success is built on people. And when we first started this, which is around about, we started working on this concept probably 2015, 2016. There was, in Australia, there was certainly a decrease in the number of people that were studying horticulture or agriculture at all levels of the education system. We also, in our discussions with the industry indicated there was a skill gap in business management and leadership. So normally, if we were doing something in the horticulture space, we'd launch off and do something in production. But industry said, no, we really need people who have got all these production skills. We need them to be trained in how to run a business, so they can progress their careers and take on more responsibility and do that well. So to address that, we've developed the masterclass, and we've tailored it to people that are working in the industry already, or have serious plans to do something within the horticulture industry itself. So that's a threshold for entry. And we've designed it, so we try to be as flexible as possible. We've designed it so that people can work and study at the same time, which in its very nature is challenging, and we recognise that. We recognise for all of you that studying and work is going to be challenging. I've got a picture there of Alastair Gracie. So Alastair is the brains behind the whole program. And I've recently taken over from him in managing the project, but I want to acknowledge Alastair's contribution, and you will no doubt come across him as we run this course. I should point out that the Masterclass program is actually a funded project by Horticulture Innovation. So Hort Innovation, through their Frontiers Leadership Fund, key partners in this project. And they facilitated early on an agreement between us and Wageningen University Research. So Wageningen are the top agricultural educational facility in the world. And so they worked with us to develop the course structure, the high-level course structure, and what sort of content should be included. And we also joined with Lincoln University, and Lincoln have worked with us and have been great in developing content. So I guess we recognise that no one person has all the expertise when it comes to a particular topic. And so what we've done is we've reached out to people that have expertise in different areas, and mined that, if you like, and put it together and present it in a digestible format, if you like. All right, so the masterclass as a project then is a formal agreement between Horticulture Innovation, Wageningen, Lincoln, and the university. And so this picture is here is with the King of the Netherlands, the King and Queen of the Netherlands. So they're in the middle, and then you can see all the hangers on there to the left and right of that. But so that was the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. So getting this course up and off the ground was big bickies. Just want to tell you about what success looks like for us, like why we're doing this. And we want to have a course that is recognised as being one of the best that you can do. And the reason for that is we like to succeed, but also being the best means that we're actually making a contribution to the development of the horticulture industry, and that's a real buzz. So what we've done to endeavour to do that is, first of all, instead of just running the courses as a certificate, what we've done is we've actually developed the course so that it's accredited under the Australian Quality Framework. And what that means, that when you finish this course, you will graduate with a diploma in horticultural business, not just a certificate. We want it to be relevant, we want it to be contemporary and engaging, so we're constantly reviewing our content and trying to improve it. We want it to be accessible, and the internet's great for making content accessible. We want to make it accessible in terms of people's capacity to access the content, but also accessible in the sense that it's delivered in a way that people can have the best chance of understanding new concepts and new information. We want to facilitate networking between people that do the course. And that's one, when people are finished, that's one of the things in the past that people have said has been very valuable to them. With COVID-19, that's obviously going to be a greater challenge this year, because doing things online and getting to know people online is a little bit harder. But we'll cover more on that in a bit. And lastly, success for us also means that some of the participants will move on and do some further education. So another reason for it being an accredited course means that you are then able to move on to an associate degree or degree. One of the people from our first cohort, our first lot of students, is just starting a master's. So she's continued her educational journey. To make sure that we're aligned with industry and meeting industry needs, we have a steering committee, and Alastair deliberately found people that were leaders in the business world. So there's Carl Phillips. Carl is the General Manager of Human Resources for Costa. Hugh Reardon, who was one of our initial students, but he's also a partner in an award-winning business, Dicky Bill. They do vegetables. Marie Piccone from Mambaloo. Marie's well known about the industry. She's great. I mean, all of these people are great. Mark Engel, who I haven't had the privilege of meeting, but Mark's involved in the nursery industry. And Trent DePoli, and I've got Trent down here as running Auschili and AvoFresh, or in the avocado business. But Trent's actually moved on and he's into biotechnology now as well. And we'll get to hear from him in a next weekend. And lastly, and also importantly, are our partners at Hort Innovation. And so Jane Whiteman is the lady that represents the Horticulture Frontiers Leadership Fund for Hort Innovation. And hopefully you'll get to meet her as well. As I mentioned, it's formal accreditation. One of the benefits of making it formal is that it reduces the costs. So for those of you who are paying the fees for the course, at the moment you're paying around about $9,000 to $10,000. If we were delivering this and people paying full fees, it'd actually be about $30,000 a pop to cover it. So you are, if you're not on an industry scholarship, you are eligible for HECS help, and so the government will help you fund your study, and we can help you, and Claire in particular can help you work out all your HECS options if need be. I've already mentioned the articulation, and again there's formal recognition, so you can put the diploma report business letters after your name should you so wish. All right, so the basics on the course structure. We would normally start the masterclass with a face-to-face intensive in person, and we'd do that in Melbourne, and we'd go and visit the Mornington Peninsula. Obviously, that's not possible at the moment, and Melbourne's probably the last place you'd want to be as well at this time. So we've moved to online, and this is a new experience for all of us. So it'll be interesting to see how we go. I'm very happy to get feedback. So the first, we work in terms at the moment, not semesters. So we have 2 terms before there's a 2-week break, and we cover modules. Now, sometimes we refer to those as units, but modules are basically topics. So the first module is on horticultural management, where we cover business plans and some basic concepts around that, as well as we start on our journey learning about financial management. We then look at people and culture, looking at how to manage people, how to manage conflict, all sorts of different issues. And then we look at supply chain management and logistics, we look at value chains, and financial management and law. So financial management and law might seem a bit dry, but when you have to do it, I find it very interesting. Law in particular can be dry, but it's really important that we understand the laws around finance and the laws around people and employing people. So after those first 2 terms, we then have a 2-week break. We come back, at this stage, we'll run a virtual online workshop. And then we do terms 3 and 4, where we look at marketing and communication in horticulture, global trends in international business, innovation and entrepreneurship, business development strategy. And then we have a final face-to-face meeting. And it'd be great if we can do this in person. What you will be doing in this course is developing business plans. So that's your keystone or your capstone achievement for the course, is to have a well-developed business plan or a component of that plan that you're able to put into place in your business or the business you work within. Okay, any questions yet?
Mark, I'll just jump in. We've just had Geordie Osler join us.
Oh, g'day, Geordie. How you doing?
Good. G'day. I was waiting for an email or something, and
you're mistaken the email address. So Geordie missed the invitation and just gave me a call.
Right.
So apologies to everyone about that. But welcome, Geordie.
Yeah. Okay. So I've just started the introduction. I'm just going through the background of the course and why we're doing it, and I've just covered the structure, Geordie.
Yeah.
So essentially, we start with this face-to-face workshop. We do 2 terms. We have a break. We do another face-to-face workshop, another 2 terms, and then the final face-to-face workshop. And the achievement at the end of it is you guys making a presentation to each other and to us around a business plan or a component of your business plan that you're intending to implement or have already started implementing. Okay, so welcome, Geordie. Okay, so the face-to-face intensives, I've already, so we've just spoken about that. We generally would visit businesses in person. So obviously we can't do that. So what we've done is we've got Sally Dacus, who is a retired journalist, ABC rural journalist. And Sally has been interviewing a couple of horticultural operations that we will visit with virtually next week. So we'll talk with Gavin Skur from Pinata Farms in Queensland. And Gavin runs quite a big operation. And we'll talk with a New Zealand company that Micah and Alison have kindly facilitated. So they're Apple Press, and we'll be talking, at the very least, we'll be talking with Sally Gallagher, one of the partners, and maybe some of her staff, and the other founder, and I can't quite remember his name. I meant to write it down. But, yeah. Anyway, so we'll talk with them. We'll also talk with Trent DePoli. So Trent, as I mentioned, is on the steering committee, but he's also a successful business person. Comes from Ross Chili, Avo Fresh, and now has a venture called Novum Science. It's not quite. Novum Life Sciences, that's it. It's there on the screen. So we'll talk with Trent next weekend as well. And basic format is that we'll watch the short documentary or interview that Sally's done. We'll have the chance to talk to these people and ask some questions, and then we'll do a quick review on our own and discuss some of the stuff we've learned. All right, I really need to move along. This, as I mentioned, is a project, and because it's a project, we have to do some research. In a sense, you guys are the guinea pigs for that research, so hopefully no one's offended by that. But what it means is that we want to involve you in surveys and learn about your learning, basically. So those surveys are just basically course feedback and specific questions about where you're from and so forth. So we will send you surveys. We'll also need to send you a number of forms for you to fill out. Any work that we do that involves people has to have an ethics approval, and under that ethics approval, we have to get your permission for multiple things. We have to get permission to use your imagery, your images, so your photos, and permission to survey and so forth. So we'll send those forms out shortly. Demographics, there's a range of qualifications. So some of you will have completed high school. Others of you will have completed a bachelor's degree or a master's or something like that. We've designed the course so that everyone gets something out of it. So you don't have to worry about your level of education. Most people are between 25 and 45 years old. They either own a business or work as part of a large business. Or they might be intending to start a business and make an investment in that area. And each year we have people from all across Australia. At the moment, the course is only open to domestic candidates, but the year after next, we'll start opening to international applicants as well. So we really appreciate your feedback. If there's any problems with the internet, so in some years people report problems with being able to engage over the internet. If you have problems with that, the university can assist you, so let us know. Most people have a preference for short delivery, so short delivery content. So our videos are generally 7 to 8 minutes. Some will go as long as 11 to 12 minutes if we think that's necessary. So we try to do it so that you can sit down in half-an-hour blocks if need be, and digest some content, move on and do something else you need to do and come back. The biggest challenge for you is not the level of learning. The biggest challenge for you guys is going to be balancing your workload with your study requirements. So the expectation or the way the course has been designed is that it will probably take you between 5 to 10 hours each week to get the most out of the course. And how much you get out of it will depend on, as with most things, how much time you're able to put into it. But we do recognise the demands of work and study, and if at any time there's an issue, please let us know. We're happy, more than happy to work with that. Okay, I'll just skip that because there's probably some more important stuff we need to cover. So the next thing we'll do after I've finished talking is we're going to show you most of the things on this slide. We're going to show you how how you will learn. Basically, it's on a platform called My Online Learning, or Milo for short. Okay. Right. Because you're a student of the university, if you don't already have it, you have access to the Microsoft Office suite for free. So once you have access to our system, you'll be able to click a link in Milo. So can you see my pointer? Yep. Okay. So in this section here, so this is the homepage that you'll see in Milo. Down here, there's an Office 365 link. It should open up into a page similar to the one I've got in the background here, and you can download Microsoft Office 365, which gives you access to the versions of the Microsoft suite that we're using. Okay, so it's a flexible course. It's also heavily based on self-directed learning, which means that you guys are learning off your own bat, and we're facilitating that. So as I mentioned, the core to the system is Milo. You'll do a reasonable amount of work with Excel. So if you're not overly familiar with Excel, we'll start on that journey today, getting up to speed with how Excel works. All of the activities, the quizzes and the tutorials, so forth that we'll do are also part of the Milo system, a part called Desire to Learn. And then the interactive stuff. So similar to what we're doing today, we'll be using software called Blackboard Conferencing, and Blackboard is within Milo. We're not using it today because not everyone has access to Milo yet. But that'll be our forum for having these types of discussion. Studiosity. Studiosity, now, I don't know too many people who've used it, but Studiosity is basically a great service. So what Studiosity does is it allows you to send an assignment to someone, and they will get back to you within 24 hours and comment on your assignment, on the grammar, the sentence structure, all that sort of stuff, which basically it'll help improve your writing or raise the standard of your writing, if I may say, put it that way. They do have people that can help you with discipline content, but that's mostly at the high school level, not so much at the tertiary level. But if you want to, I'd encourage you to use the service to submit your assignment, get some feedback before you send it to us. Not that we're harsh markers, but it will help you learn. It'll probably help you get better marks as well, if that's what you want to achieve. Yeah, just having trouble with the slides here. Yeah, okay, so just briefly, because we're a university, universities are very big on what's called academic integrity. And to sum academic integrity up, it means that you don't copy someone else's work, or you don't copy someone else's ideas without providing acknowledgement of that. As part of the course, you will have to do a unit on academic integrity. It's a short unit. We were discussing this yesterday. I looked it up, and it's compulsory for all students that enrol in a UTAS course. So the division of the university called the University College will make an announcement and most likely send you an email on how to access that material. It takes about 20 minutes to do it, so it's not too onerous. We'll cover that in more detail a bit later, but I'm just bringing it to your attention that that's one of the things the university does well, not focus on, but it's part of the system. Okay, so briefly just how you'll be assessed. For each module that you do, there's a document called a unit outline, and the unit outline basically tells you what's in the unit, and also gives you the assessments that will be used in that unit as well. So we basically start with intended learning outcomes. So this is basically telling you what you should know and understand, if we've done our jobs properly, what you should know and understand by the time you finish that module. And within that, it also describes what we call engagement tasks. So engagement is basically participation. You're actually engaging with the material, you've done something. So the engagement tasks are basically there to generate discussion, and to give us an idea that you're actually engaging with the course and things are travelling well. So for instance, attending this workshop, this face-to-face, is an engagement activity. And you'll note that sometimes the language is quite severe. You'll note that the unit outline says that if you don't participate in today's workshop, you'll be withdrawn from the course. And that's not to be nasty. That's because we have a date called the census date. And when someone enrolls, if they don't withdraw before the census date, the government then kicks in the fee for doing the course. So to protect ourselves and also to protect students, the university, I guess, reserves the right to withdraw students at the census date if they don't think they've engaged with the course. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, we're continuing to develop the course. When we first started, we had a practice and portfolio module, which then morphed, which was quite difficult to do, which then morphed into a personal development plan, which we've now fully integrated into the masterclass so that it's seamless. And again, these things were designed around engagement. I'm just bringing it to your attention that if you see a reference to PMP, practice and portfolio, or personal development plans, just ignore it. It's something we've missed, and all of that is now covered within the business plan. So it's unlikely that you come across it, so you can probably forget this piece of information, but just in case, maybe this will help at some stage. Okay, our tips for success. The first one, and we'll reiterate it, is stay in touch. When students are on campus, you can have ad hoc conversations and walk past someone and say, oh, how's it going? Or they can see you walking past and say, hang on, I've got a question. This type of learning exercise is very different. We're all over the country. And so it's important to stay in touch so that we know how you're going, and so we can support you through any difficulties, and you also get the most out of the course. Because we're all busy, we're all working, it's very easy to fall behind. And as you would know, once you fall behind with something, it becomes very difficult to catch up. We're as flexible as we possibly can be with deadlines. Again, so we'll talk about this again, but if you need more time with an assignment, that's quite okay with us. The only boundaries we have around that are internal university deadlines, where we're required to load information up, so results information into the system. And we can get around that, but that's quite difficult. And it involves a reasonable amount of negotiation. So we'll try to get you across the line by those dates, but we are flexible. We understand you're working and studying. Keep in mind that as we go, the content is designed for you to put building blocks together as a business plan. So when you see content that you think you want to put in your plan, make sure that you do that as you go along the way, because that will help you. As I mentioned, regular discussion and feedback. We're always open to constructive feedback. We're not perfect. No one is. If something goes wrong, we'll correct it as quickly as possible. We'd appreciate that you tell us about it as soon as possible as well if something isn't working. And also regular discussion and feedback just about the content. We love learning. We want to learn from you. We want you to learn from us. And discussions are great, and feedback are great ways to do that. And I've already covered the last point. Let us know if there's a problem. Okay, ECAF. So this is Electronic Commonwealth Assistance Form. To stay enrolled in the course, you need to fill this form out. So if you haven't done it already, do it first thing Monday or last thing today. You really need to fill out your ECAF form. If you've got any questions about it or you want some help, Claire is there to help you with that. All right, we're about to do this, but just as a heads up, this is the student portal for you guys. This is how you access things. This is how you're going to access Milo. So you see at the top of the screen, I'm pointing with my hand, that's not going to help, is it? So you see here, I've highlighted the students logo. You click on students, you'll see this page here. And this is your main administrative interaction with the university. So you can pay fees, which for those of you who have industry scholarships you won't have to do. You can see your timetables, all of the communication, webmail, everything's here that you need. If you need help with this, just understand that we will do our best to help you, but we'll probably have to go and ask questions because we can't actually access this stuff because we're staff, which is sort of weird, but I have no idea what lies behind these buttons because obviously I've just comes up and says not authorized. So just keeping that in mind, but go here first if you want to do any of the stuff that the university is asking you to do regarding managing your course. All right, so engaging with us, we're happy people. We're glad to talk to you. We're glad to help you. So encourage online communication. When you're communicating with others, particularly over text, just keep in mind that text doesn't convey emotions or body language. And so just when we write things to each other, particularly if we're debating a topic or we see things differently, just keep in mind that people aren't able to read your body language and read your email or your text or your post before you put it online, just to make sure that it's not ambiguous and it's clear. Most of us probably fairly experienced that by now. Once you make a mistake, you're unlikely to make it twice if you can help it. All right, again, utilise our expertise. There's lots of it. If we don't know, we'll find the answer for you. We'll find someone that does know, and we'll try and get you the best information that we possibly can. And as I've already mentioned, feedback is welcome. Now, networking is going to be a challenge. And in most years, the students set up their own Facebook page in any case, or you might want to use WhatsApp. It's totally up to you. I'm going to ask now if someone would volunteer to do this, because this is going to help you guys network, and it's going to be really important for you as you go on this journey, so that you can talk to each other. We can't organise it because for privacy reasons, and we don't particularly want to be part of the group either, because we feel that you guys need a space where you can just discuss things amongst yourselves without having us looking over your shoulder. So is there anyone that would volunteer now to either set up a Facebook or a WhatsApp page?
I'm happy to, Ash, here. I use WhatsApp for work, so I have a couple of different work groups, so I'm happy to facilitate that, to set up a group.
Okay, thanks very much, Ashley.
No worries.
That'll be awesome, and you guys will really benefit from that. Okay. Email. So our main method of communicating with you to keep things simple is to use your UTAS email address. Now, that's caused confusion in the past because we start communicating with you through the enrolment process using your personal email addresses. That gets messy, so we will communicate with you through the UTAS email address. You are able to forward that. It's a Microsoft Outlook account. You can forward that, and the way you do that is you go to the Outlook on your web page, which you can access through Milo. You click on the settings, so the cog button, and then you have to go to view all Outlook settings, and in there you can select forwarding and set the UTAS email address to forward to your normal email address. Having said that, the university recommend that we don't do this because of security issues. However, if this is functional for you, I'll leave it up to you to make the decision. All right, almost done. We'll cover this lately, but just to let you know that we also encourage formal feedback. There's a survey system called Evaluate, and that's an opportunity for you guys to comment on the course content, how it's delivered, and so forth. And so we'd really appreciate it if, when it becomes available, you do that for us, so that we can improve the course for the next lot of users. All right, that's it. A lot of information. Some of it fairly dry. Are there any questions? Okay, so that means I've done my job really well, or something else. All right. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. So next on the agenda is learning and interacting online. And so we're going to break up into discussion groups. However, I think we might have a 5-minute break. What do you reckon, Alison and Micah? Yeah, let's have a 5-minute break. We'll come back and then we'll break up into groups. And so either Alison Hall or myself, you'll end up with one of us. Professor Allison and Mikey, I think, are going to take a break until they're back on to do the gross margin analysis. So let's have a 5-minute break. We'll come back at let's say 12:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours ahead of that. 2:45 in New Zealand. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anyone from Perth. Anyway.
So Micah's going to disappear.
Yes.
Lincoln University has got a virtual open day, so Micah's transferring over to that. But and I'll be back at 2 o'clock, I think, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right.
Okay, thanks. And long enough to have a smoke and make yourself a cup of coffee if that's what you want to do.
Awesome. See you all in 5 minutes.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.